Hello and welcome to the Business Show podcast here on Radio Newark 107.8 FM and of course across DAB in Nottinghamshire and Lincolnshire. I'm Simon Gabitas, I am one of your hosts and I'm again joined by my co-host Michael Hardy, who is back here with his shorts. Michael, hello, how are you?
Good morning, Simon. I had my sabbatical a month away. I'm back.
We had chaos in the studio for a month.
Yeah, I'm bringing order.
No, it was organised chaos, and of course we're also joined by our guest today. So we've got Helen Johnson from GXO in partnership with Currys. Helen, hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you on, and obviously we'll be talking to you a bit later on, and you're going to be joining me for a whole bunch of stuff throughout the show as well. Michael, talk to us. What's happening?
So on this week's, month's, year's show.
This month's, week's, month's, year's show.
On this month's show. We're going to be looking at last month's meeting highlights.
Yep.
We're going to be having the Business Show Big Quiz, which I am delighted Helen is helping you with.
We're always delighted that anyone can help me with the business quiz, Michael.
I guarantee no support.
That's about the same as what everyone has said to me before.
Yeah,
so, as long as you smile, that's all good.
We're then going to have a chat with Helen and about GXO as a patron of the business club. So it'd be great to catch up and understand a bit more about Helen, the business, and the wider business world for GXO in partnership with Currys. Yeah. We've then got business grants. So we've got two really interesting local grants from Will. So we'll talk about those. Who gives a book? And then the July meeting. So a bit of an update of what's going to happen there.
Excellent stuff. So, what's up first?
So, first of all, Simon, let's talk about the June meeting.
June meeting. So, it was sponsored by the team from Bakkavor. It went down very well, actually. So, they turned up with about 300 cakes, which is always great. And from Bakkavor's point of view, I mean, they weren't there to necessarily sell anything. They were to talk about some of the stuff that they do within the community. I'm sure similar conversations we're going to have as well with you today, Helen. But they were talking about some of the charities they've worked with, some of the community initiatives that they've worked on. And as mentioned, they brought cake. So they brought these cakes. I think people were already starting to peel them about 7:15. And I thought, well, they're cream cakes. People will probably just wait and then take them home later on. We've obviously got Nicola Auckland, who's resident photographer. I think by about 8:00 she was just getting loads of pictures of people stuffing cream cakes down their faces. They brought loads of their new flavours, which was great. So that went down really, really well.
First meeting I've missed in months, and I know people don't believe that I actually missed the meeting, but I did. And there was cake.
There was cake, and literally by 8:30 they would all disappeared. I turned around at one point thinking, I'm gonna take some of those shoe buns with me. Turn around, gone. So that's how you get rid of 300 cakes and get loads of feedback. So we could possibly be part of the Bakkavor new product development team, I reckon. Bit of research.
I'm in.
We do that. So it was a good meeting. We had usual kind of table networking. We had the charity draw. So Daniel Otten did what Daniel does and just confused the heck out of everybody. And he got there with his ducks this time because they had the duck race. Even the numbers that were on the bottom, he said, so that number actually means something different. So if that number gets called out, honestly, Helen, it was great to see. It was like a magician ish. And we've got 3 charities that we picked out that we'll talk about in a bit that are going to be presenting at the next meeting. We had a 2-minute spotlight, so we heard from Reach. Julie was there. And then we had Sharon McCarthy, who came across from the Department for Business and Trade. So she covers Nottinghamshire and Lincolnshire. And it was great to hear from her. She was talking about some of the exporting side of the business, and there was definitely a few people in the room that went away and said, right, I need to be speaking to you. I'm either working with other people or I'm working, and that's next project for us. So, it was well timed, I think, and obviously great to have the Department for Business and Trade over as well.
Excellent. Informative and cake. What more can you need?
Well, I just keep coming back to the cake. They had this really awesome kind of lemon eclair with white chocolate. I know.
I'm gutted I missed it.
We'll see what we can do for the next meeting.
Brilliant. Okay, so it sounds like a fun meeting, which is always good. So let's move on to your favourite part of the podcast.
And I'm always delighted that it comes up so fast on the podcast as well.
It's the Business Show Big Quiz.
Business Show Big Quiz, which we do actually need to park some of these, or not park, but we need to actually borrow some of these questions, Michael, I think, for the summer social as well, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. Although
And
everybody
we keep
will
the answers for it.
everybody would have heard it because they've all listened
Yeah, okay.
intently.
All right. Well, you can help me with some other questions.
This is the most listened to part of the podcast. Okay, so this month's Business Show Big Quiz. So question number 1.
Hit me.
Question number 1. It's been warm the last couple of weeks. You might have noticed temperatures have been high. So in the UK, what is UK law on working in high temperatures?
I should know this.
And we've got a HR professional in our midst.
And someone that owns a HR consultancy.
We're going to do really well today.
30 degrees seems... Well, I think...
It depends. There's lots of caveats. Because
Yeah.
you need to make sure you can provide water and things like that and extra breaks.
Yeah.
But I think that... Are you talking like what's the cap of not being able to work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was... Well, actually, you say that. So my son's school had to shut because they didn't have water for a couple of hours. But I thought, yeah, around 25 degrees, I think I saw that you kind of it's almost a good practice to make sure that you've got the things that you need in the office. But I thought, yeah, about
Maybe
30 degrees.
Let's go with 30.
30?
I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Okay. The UK doesn't have a specific law mandating a maximum working temperature. Employers are legally obliged to ensure reasonable temperature in the workplace and manage risks from heat, but there is no high, and there's no low heat, no temperature either. So
No, I knew that one because we have chillers.
yeah. so basically,
So we were right with the good practice
So
stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, you were right with the good practice,
Right with the caveats.
Yes.
but reality is it can be as hot as you like, and just crack on.
It's not.
Tell you
That's
now,
not the messaging, but yeah.
Any of the staff at work right now in the Pick Tower are going to hate that rule because it is hot there.
Yeah, I guess so. But that is a serious point, isn't it? I think different businesses. So our business, for example, we're in a listed building. It's either hot or cold. If it's hot outside, it's hot inside. If it's cold outside, it's cold inside. It's about putting provisions in place, isn't it, and making sure that people are comfortable. I mean, we brought in ice creams this week.
I had an ice cream van
Oh, did
yesterday
you?
on site.
I think I saw on social media there was some iced coffee from a certain American chain as well.
Well, yes, I didn't
Provided by
partake in
one of
that one,
your
but yeah,
team.
no, we had so one of the team went out and got some iced coffee for everyone, which is always a great thing.
Yeah.
But I know I think Spain have a temperature where you can't work outside, so it might be 40 degrees. So builders and the like can't work
Okay.
outside, which normally is why they shut down in August, because it's always. But of course, it's happening now over there, so they're having.
I mean, they also go to sleep halfway through the day.
Yeah,
So
siestas.
I feel like that
Missing
should be a
that.
new rule in the
Yeah.
UK. So when
Yeah.
it gets to a certain point, we should just have a little kip.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting to that age where I do that anyway.
It's beneficial. It's fine.
Absolutely. Okay, question number 2. What are supermarkets being asked to reduce?
Not a clue.
The price of those really nice lemon and chocolate eclairs. What they have to
On the
do-
basis of your feedback, Bakkavor have just added 15% to the
Yeah.
retail price.
the price. That'll be waste. Is it a sustainability question?
No.
Okay.
Funnily
Is it a
enough,
product?
funnily enough, cakes actually probably play quite a high part in this.
Sugar? Like sugared products?
Close.
Right. Okay.
Sugary drinks?
Calories.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So, they're being asked to basically promote more healthy food, change positions of healthy food, and not promote high calorie products in their meal deals, etc. The UK have a target of reducing everybody's calorie intake by 216 calories a day, because that would halve the number of obese people in the UK.
Wow. Okay.
What's the average calorie intake by UK people?
That's a brilliant question. I don't know.
I
the
love
answer.
this. I love the fact that yeah, you can come again, Helen.
No
Right.
one can beat for the summer social.
Yeah.
There's a new question for you.
Absolutely. That's a really good question. Moving on.
But no, it's a fair point. And again, I mean, from a schooling point of view, we're doing the rounds at schools at the moment, secondary schools, and actually chatting to one of the teachers yesterday, we were talking about the idea of nutrition, which comes up much more. So whereas it was food tech back in the day, and it was learning how to do your baking and your cooking, actually now the focus is on nutrition and healthy eating, which is an interesting interesting thing. But that's obviously feeding its way through the syllabus, feeding its way into the supermarkets, and
absolutely. So calories are the focus, and it's about the whole piece of going forward to the NHS. The issue for the NHS is about the number of obese people, and that's what's causing a lot of the problems down the line. So start with what you buy and hopefully improve people's healthy eating.
Cool.
Okay, so the final question number 3. Newark has 2 new shops opening soon with the same core product. What is that product?
No idea.
And if you've been around town, you will have seen a sign for one of them.
Is it books?
Boom!
Well done.
Thank you. I just,
I'm actually impressed. Well done.
I just hold back until question number 3, just to
drop the mic.
Yeah. No, that's the mic drop. That's the official mic drop. Books.
Yep, that is correct. So we've got 2 bookshops opening. We've got Waterstones.
Really excited about that.
Like
which is fantastic, and we've also got the Newark bookshop, which is being opened by a local resident who'd started down that process and then saw a big sign saying Waterstones is opening soon. So the Newark bookshop's opening at the Newark same weekend as the Newark Book Festival, which makes absolute sense. Nice. And to be honest, in business, it's not bad to have multiple offerings of similar. I mean, look at cafes, look at hairdressers and the like, because using Waterstones as the example, that will drive people in to look for books because they know there's a Waterstones. And if you are a really good independent bookshop in the same area, the likelihood is you'll be able to signpost people to your store, which will help footfall for you, I would suspect. So.
Yeah.
But this is the same with other businesses, and we've talked about it for events.
Yeah, absolutely.
When an event's happening in Newark, then actually tag onto it. If you've got Waterstones, then actually turn your cafe into a space where you can go and read a book.
Yeah.
Use that kind of opportunity. And I mean, this happens all the time with restaurants, and I think again we've talked about the idea where we've obviously got 32 Stodman Street in Newark. We've got the apartments that are coming up.
Yes.
I saw that the old Weatherspoons has got planning in at the moment to turn into apartments.
That's correct.
Because actually that is, I think, the future of what we're going to see more in Newark. Having residential in there, again, has all sorts of positive impacts that we talked about in terms of kind of, the nighttime economy potential, about decreasing crime and issues. If you've got people living there, then it's, actually activity that's happening in the town.
Absolutely.
But if we can maybe get an interesting restaurant in Newark, then again, the chances are that another one follows. If someone else has created demand, then there's obviously stuff there. So no, it's really exciting. I love the idea, and I've had a lot of messages over the last few days about Waterstones. Yeah, because that is hopefully the first of a few more interesting kind of retail shops in Newark.
Absolutely, but if you do go to Waterstones, also go to Newark Business Bookshop.
Yes, absolutely.
Business Bookshop. No, it's business, not business.
We're not setting up. We're not setting up a bookshop.
Although Simon could have his own library of business books.
Well, we've talked about this. One of the messages I did actually get over the last few days was, can we do something in collaboration with those with the Who Gives a Book? So we've got Who Gives a Book at the business club, and the idea is again about sharing knowledge, sharing information around the room. So can we do something in collaboration, which sounds like an exciting opportunity.
Newark Bookshop might be a good
I think so.
discussion point.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So there we go. Well done, Simon. You got one correct.
3 out of 3, I reckon.
I think we nailed it.
Well, I think there's definitely half a point for the first one because it was a good discussion point.
It was an excellent discussion.
Good question back on the second point.
Yeah, so that's maybe an extra one. So I think we got 4 out of 3.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Brilliant.
Excellent.
Great math.
I can see why you're both accountants. Brilliant. Well, thank you, Helen, for helping Simon. And Simon, well done for getting one right.
4 out of 3. Right, brilliant.
Excellent.
What's
Okay.
on the agenda next?
Next is welcome to Helen Johnson, the HR manager from GXO in partnership with Currys. Hello, Helen.
Wow, you said all of that without looking down at
I
your...
know, you did really well there.
Thank you very much.
Mic drop. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. It's hot.
It's warm, but the thing is, it doesn't matter how warm it gets, Ellen, you've still got to carry on, as we've just found out.
Yeah.
No, it's great to have you here, and I think, again, first and foremost, thank you to you guys for coming on board as a patron sponsor this year for Newark Business Club. So I suppose just touching on that, I suppose, from your point of view, again, what was one of the reasons for kind of, coming on board from your side?
So we've obviously come last year. We visited a few times, and one of my team did a presentation last year with the Orchard School.
Yes, of course.
And I think so through that links, we've really started to build stronger links into the community, which is one of the most important things that we want to do as one of the biggest employers in Newark.
Sure.
We really want to actually reach out to our colleagues and their families to remind them what good we can do as well. Not just, we're not just going to here to employ you and you just come and work your 12-hour shift in a really sweaty warehouse right now. But we want to be able to do more, and we want to give back to the community as well. So one of the links that we got from that was definitely why we wanted to be a patron sponsor, just to link in with you all a lot more and attend things like this and be able to advertise more what we can do.
Yeah, excellent. And you mentioned obviously one of the biggest, you must be the biggest employer in Europe, right?
Do you know what? I've done a lot of research on this. So according to the statistics, we were the 3rd largest. However, I think we're now maybe the top because these statistics are still 10 years old. So we're about out of date with it. So, but yeah, based on numbers, I think we could be the biggest now.
It's got to be. Because again, some of your stats around, peak periods and stuff like that, you really ramp it up obviously towards Christmas, which in your world starts earlier than some other people's worlds, right?
Yeah, so we start building for peak normally sort of back end of August, beginning of September. Obviously, you've got the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which is one of our busiest times, and then leading into Christmas. And then we also have returns there as well. So post-Christmas, where people don't like their iWatch that they got for Christmas. Who doesn't? That gets returned. So, and then also the Currys side, we've got the repair centre there as well. So they're obviously, that's a fantastic facility actually. That's a nice one there. So they've got a mezzanine floor over in one of the buildings there as well. So they're obviously quite busy as well. So yeah, we're a big employer. Lots of colleagues.
Big employer.
And in terms of the employment, what's the sort of range of people who work for you?
Ooh. So everyone basically is from Newark, is what I'm discovering.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, certainly Newark Sherwood area.
Yeah.
So we can reach out to Grantham, Lincoln, some into Nottingham. But predominantly Newark is the main area, so that's one of the reasons why we like the round table. We do the Santa sleigh. We love doing that because you're actually knocking on colleagues' doors and people are coming out in their Currys uniform.
Oh, wow.
It's really nice because you're like, oh, this is your family. Hi, have a sweet. Give me some money.
It's 9 o'clock at night. Why have you still got your polo shirt on?
Yeah. Hold on, why aren't you still on shift? So we have such a diverse workforce now as well. So one of the things that I really wanted to talk about today was how we are trying to get into the untapped workforce. So as you said, as one of the biggest recruiters and employers here, we kind of sink everybody into our site. So when we're trying to ramp up for peak, it's really hard to get new people in because everyone already works for us or has other jobs. And actually in the Newark and Sherwood area, part of the research we did was to find out that just over 8% of the population here is disabled or have caring responsibilities.
Okay.
Right.
So what we really wanted to do was to start looking at this, what is called the untapped workforce, and just looking at other ways that we can recruit. So rather than just looking at somebody who will physically abled, walk in, have an interview and be able to get a job, we wanted to be able to go out to more of the local schools and look at those college leavers and people who might be neurodiverse or have conditions like Down syndrome, people who are in prison in an open prison and trying to get them rehabilitated back into society again. Veterans, there's so many different areas that we're starting to work with. So there's one company that we work with, which is DS WorkFit, which is part of Down Syndrome Association.
Okay.
So we've had a colleague work for us now for a couple of years, and actually it was in a meeting yesterday, and we're looking at taking on at least one more, hopefully 2 more colleagues this year as well. So that's my favourite, my passion.
Yep.
I have a child with Down syndrome, so that was very important that we have employment future for those
amazing.
with Down syndrome, because my daughter will work and look after me at some point. We've worked with Hatfield Prison, which is an open prison, and we've had a massive success story with a colleague who finished serving his sentence, came to work for us. Since served the sentence, he's now permanently a fixture with us, and he's an excellent worker, and we're working with him at the moment on development and how he can improve his skills and grow in our business as well, which is really exciting news. We love working with him as well.
That is, and again, so I went over to Lincoln Business Club recently. Obviously we're talking in a while about our summer social and some of the stuff we're doing together with Grantham and Lincoln, but Lincoln had Jacqueline from HMP Lincoln with them this month, and they've just done a program. They're working with Fred Sirio, so the front of house maitre d', very flamboyant guy that works with Gordon and Gino. They've worked on a program. There's a couple of them that are kind of spearheading this, and the idea is that they're kind of creating some really awesome catering services within the prison, but they're using it as a facility. Obviously there's a whole bunch of safeguarding bits and pieces they need to do beforehand, but they're basically creating a really awesome restaurant and giving people the opportunity to use those skills as soon as they come out. But we're just talking about the idea of rehabilitation, and of course actually that's again from an employment point of view. There's obviously some big employers already that kind of shout about it, some that maybe do it already like yourselves that don't necessarily shout about it much, but actually again that's a great way to have people back into work.
And I think it's something GXO Logistics kind of as a business, we really work with the ROTL program, which is the prison program, which is release on temporary license program, and then you've also got the DS WorkFit. So those are the main ones as a business we utilise. But what we've really used from Newark Business Club and through our connections with the community is things Newark Emmaus Trust. So we've been working with Nikki there, and we've had some people from the homeless shelter come round and have a look round, and we've tried to get them into employment as well. Excellent. So far we haven't been successful, but that's again, everyone deserves a chance, so we'll continue to keep trying there. We also, I think I mentioned earlier, just with Orchard School. So we do tours with the school there, so that's the local special educational needs school. And we do tours, so they come out, have a look, and we do it with the 16 to 18. So when they're starting to look to leave school, we're now looking at doing supported internships. So this year we've had 2 students come in. They were both actually from West Notts College, not from Orchard School in the end. And one of them has now just been employed. So he's just started his contract last Tuesday.
Wow, nice.
Whereas the other student was, this isn't for me. I don't want to work in a warehouse. But that's great, because she could make that choice. And sometimes it's taken away from them. So we really want to be able to say, these are all the opportunities you can have. This is what we can provide and offer you. Come and have a go. And with the supported internship, they get a job coach, which is assigned to them, and then they also have a work buddy, which is assigned from us. And they can come in, they do a set number of hours on a set day, trial it for a certain period of time, see how they get on. We have regular feedback with the job coach, with them and with their buddy, and then if it's right for them, then there's employment opportunity out of that as well. So we're looking at, I think we've got 3 at the moment potentially lined up for the next intake. So that's been fantastic. So, and again, that those 2 individuals were neurodiverse, so we've had ADHD and autism. And then obviously you look at actually who have we got employed. So we're looking at different recruitment ways to come in, but then you sat there thinking, well, hold on a minute, we're looking at how do we bring these people in, but I'm sure they all exist on our site. I mean, we've got hundreds of people here,
thousands of people, right?
Well, over the entire contract, so we've started to look at ways that we can really help people's mental well-being, physical well-being. So we have a counsellor that comes on site once a week. That's been a massive support to so many colleagues. She's an amazing trauma counsellor as well. She's really, really good at her job. We've just started a physio, so he's only done one session so far. So we've brought that in just to help those aches and pains. It's a very manual job working in a warehouse. So we want to be able to just provide people with that additional support to be able to keep employed, but also keep safe and well, so that you can still be part of your family as well. Because that's one of the most important things. You don't live to work; you live to live your life, and work is there as an addition. So we're kind of like trying to do a lot more for those that are there and those who are yet to join us, hopefully.
No, it's really exciting. I mean, I talked before about, my mum worked in special education, and I mean, I've got an uncle that's got special needs, so we've had that conversation as well. But I love the idea of what you're doing there, and I think, like you say, it's a case of sometimes it's right for people, sometimes it's not, but it's that opportunity, isn't it? It's the fact that you can see an opportunity to give them a leg up or a helping hand on to kind of look for themselves, really, which is brilliant.
And it's great because everything we do is in partnership with Currys, so we have many conversations with Currys about lots of the different routines that we want to go down. The physio, the mental well-being, all of that is being fully supported by them. And we also, like the ice cream vans yesterday, we mentioned it to the repair centre and said, we're going to get ice creams. And Damien was like, yes, please. We're jumping on this too. And we're like, fab, we can sort that out. So
what a week to own an ice cream van.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we picked the right week, definitely. So, yeah.
But Duncan Bannatyne still wishes he has all those ice cream vans from back in the day. I think he's rich enough, actually.
Yeah.
I think opening up the opportunity for the workforce. I remember when the Orchard School spoke at the business club, and I think the unknown scares people, and if you're not used to it or you don't know it, you don't understand it, it's very easy to just not go down that avenue and not get involved. So I think what you're doing is fantastic, and what the Orchard School did, coming to the business club to talk to the local businesses. And it's very easy to say small businesses struggle because they don't have a lot of employees, so therefore, how they engage in different people with different challenges, but actually they bring a very different opportunity as well. And I think that was one of the things that Orchard talked about, and I took away. And I think what you're doing there is fantastic, and more power to you.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it should be an opportunity for all. And I think one of the great things about doing the tours with Orchard School is that you're creating that awareness, because they're seeing these young people, vibrant, full of energy.
Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, it's like blowing their mind being able to see the MHE up close, and we've made safe environments for them to actually go and sit on the MHE, not move it. There's no keys in there, just safety wise, but they've actually been able to see and feel it, and I think just that excitement, and our colleagues, we do involve our colleagues in these tours, but those that just walk past, it's creating more awareness and saying like, this is fine, it doesn't matter, but everyone should have an opportunity to be employed and work. So and I think the last tour, quite a few of them were waving at people, and it was like, oh, that's my uncle, or oh, that's my mum's friend, and it was nice again, because it just comes back to that community.
It's a bit like you were saying, knocking on the doors with the Santa sleigh. It's again bringing it back to local people, local company. Because of course you are one of the largest tech companies in Europe, I think, was one of the things that I read from some of the
Currys,
stats.
I think they're the largest omnichannel retailer,
but it makes it local again, doesn't it?
And it brings it back, and this has been their main hub for decades. So when you're talking to people about long service, I think our longest server, bear in mind GXO took the warehouse on from Currys 4 years ago. Our longest server, I think, is 55 years. So he's been there forever.
Wow.
And he
used to have electronics 55 years ago.
No, it was actually just curry.
I actually don't know what product they started out with.
Tech was different. I don't know. I mean, I remember that. Didn't they acquire Tandy's back in the day? Was it Tandy's? I think there was, because it was Currys. But there was a few that, again, I mean, obviously the tech has changed, and you guys have evolved with it. But I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, we've done a tour of the facility, and you kind of walk in and go, wow.
Well, I mean, I was blown away by that. I mean, without being funny, but the Orchard School kids, I mean, that, I've been to quite a few facilities, breweries, cider making. it blows your mind. So taking 16-year-old kids into it,
And do you know what? One little dig at Dan Otten. None of the kids got blisters, but Dan did on that visit.
Well, just inappropriate footwear, or socks.
Socks.
Probably
it was
socks.
the socks. We gave him the safety footwear.
But again, that you don't know the opportunities that could bring. But like I say, I mean, we were flabbergasted. I think walking around, just the scale of your site, the size of everything, and I think in terms of some of the kind of production flows and stuff. Again, I think back in the day, I think there was a mile of production facility and rollers that were going through, and you just go, wow, that's an efficient mile as well. Because I think historically, I think one of the longest production lines was actually Larder, but that was because it was just really inefficient. It was just a really long line of nothing happening. Whereas actually, you guys, it's twists and turns, and it's automation, and it's tech, and you just kind of watch it and go, wow, lots of future tech in there as well.
Yeah.
Well, look, we really appreciate you being a patron, and what you've just talked about is fantastic, and we hope we can get that message out wider, both into our community, but the wider business community as well. Yeah,
there's definitely more that we can do, and if any other businesses want to talk to us about how we can tap into the community and employ different, then I'm here for it.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us.
It's all right.
Exciting.
Fantastic.
What's next upon the agenda?
So next we have Grants for the Memories.
Grants for the Memories.
So this is where Will Parkinson of Newark and Sherwood District Council Economic Growth Team provides us with 2 grants from his plethora of grants, because he is the grant man.
That's not his official title.
That are relevant to local businesses. And we've had all sorts of areas to cover. This month he's given us 2 which are actually their own grants. So this is something that Newark and Sherwood are promoting. So the first one is the UK Shared Prosperity Fund, or UK SPF for short, for business growth and productivity. They've launched this grant with an aim at small and micro breweries in our area to grow and increase productivity and become more environmentally sustainable. The grants are between £2,500 and £10,000 to support job creation, productivity, and environmentally sustainable. They can be for purchase of small-scale equipment, software, services, investments to improve efficiency, and sustainability initiatives. It's a 40% match funding. They must be completed by the 31st of January, and applications close on the 16th of July. For more details, contact Will, who will be able to provide you all the information.
Did you say breweries then, or businesses?
Businesses.
Okay. I think you said breweries, but
I thought you said breweries.
Just for clarity, I think it's businesses. But
I think
I think it's businesses.
It piqued my interest a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I was thinking, how many breweries have we got around here? I think you might have said, but we did just talk about breweries and your background in breweries. But I do think, I think businesses. Just for clarity, we will be putting obviously the links below any of this stuff that goes on social media. But
it's a good
I think
job
that's
this
open.
gets edited.
That's not getting edited. No, we just need to. No, I think that is. It's for businesses, isn't it?
It's for
I have read
businesses.
that.
40% match funding, 16th of July. Must have completed the projects by the 31st of January.
And I think that's going to be applicable to so many people around here, isn't it? So that's a really good, good grant.
And the second one is the Rural England Prosperity Fund. This is designed to support the growth and resilience of local rural economy. Capital funding to community organisations and rural enterprises. Grants from 10 to 40,000 available for capital projects to grow the rural economy and enhance community infrastructure. So such things as rural tourism, community hubs, EV charging points, heritage and cultural site improvements, and equipment for food production. They must have a contribution of 40% match funding, and projects must be completed by 31st of January. You must have been trading for over 12 months and have under 50 employees. Applicants based in the Newark and Sherwood area. And again, deadline is the 16th of July.
Okay.
So 2 grants, very much for our small businesses.
Yep.
Not breweries. If you are a brewery, you can equally
absolutely, And if anything, I think Will Parkinson's just trying to make them as complicated for you to say as possible.
He is indeed.
I mean, the amount of acronyms that we have to kind of go through. Two very local, and people have got until the 16th of July, as you mentioned, and then obviously until the end of or the start of 2026 to actually get these projects in place.
Yeah, the anticipation is 16th of July. The applications close.
Yep.
They'll give you a yay or nay by September, and then you've got sort of 3 months from there to complete the project.
Excellent.
So. Absolutely.
And as always, as mentioned, we'll put some of the links below so that you can get in contact with Will and the team.
Absolutely.
At the Economic Growth Department. Perfect.
Okay, so who gives a book? Talking about
us.
Books.
We always give books away. We mentioned actually at the last one of the last meetings that I think we've given away just over 50 books now since we put this in play. So some meetings we've given away more than one. We've had a couple of events where we've given away books as well. But again, the idea is, we share books around. There'll be stuff that I've read that other people haven't, stuff that they've read that I haven't, and we kind of share those ideas. And the idea was that once you've read it, if you think it can add value, give it to someone else. And we've got our own little mini library going, and the good news is, having visited some of the other local business clubs recently, I've seen that in progress. Yes. in Grantham as well. They've got a little library kind of going on, and people can kind of share those around as well. Last month we gave away a book called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. So that's by Shed Helmstetter. And it was recommended by Claire Copping from Starfish Hypnotherapy. But the idea is you're looking at ways to learn how to talk to yourself in new and positive ways. A lot of people do actually talk to themselves, whether it's physically out loud or just in their head, but a lot of that is negative. A lot of that stuff is, why didn't I, what I could have done. Whereas the idea is, it's looking at how you can turn that and switch it into positive ways and achieve more, whether it's at work, at home. But Claire Copping, who recommended that, so I surprised her actually, because she'd not been to a few meetings, so I waited for her to actually be in the meeting so I could give it away. I do actually think about some of these things. She just said, look, it's a book that she's read and highly recommends to other people. But
sounds really good.
So I think Nigel from Exposure, I think, won that book. So whether or not we see him wandering around having a chat to himself,
hopefully positively as well.
Positive. You are great, Nigel. Yeah. But no, it sounds like an interesting book.
Yeah,
and again, it wasn't a book that I've come across as well, and I think that's the other thing. We're trying to we're going to give it away to someone in the room, but actually there might be some other people around that go, ooh, that sounds like an interesting book. Yeah. We'll go and share some knowledge. So that was what we gave away last month.
Perfect.
We've got just linking to that, we've got books to give away this month, but we've also got some books that we're going to be giving away at the Summer Social as well, which we should probably touch on.
Yes, absolutely.
So
July's a busy month for the business club.
It is. We've got all sorts going on. So we've got the Summer Social, which is Thursday the 10th of July. That's at Newark Showground this year. Last year we did it at the YMCA. It was a great event. It was, again, really, really warm. And this year, although last year we did say it was with kind of friends, this year we have involved Lincoln Business Club and Grantham Business Club. So chairs from both clubs, Andrew and Robert, are going to be joining me to help host various bits of the event. We've got live music again, because that went down really well. We've done it on a Thursday because people didn't necessarily think the Friday worked too well. We've brought it into July, a bit further away from school holidays, so it doesn't interfere with that. We're going to have a big raffle. So again, thank you to GXO in partnership with Currys. You've just donated a Apple Watch SE, which is an amazing raffle prize.
Fantastic prize.
So we've got an Apple Watch. We've got a big Italian dining hamper. We've got some sparkly. We've got some books. We've got some Newark and Sherwood gift cards to give away. So again, the Newark and Sherwood gift card we've been championing and talking about quite a bit. But Newark and Sherwood have brought that out in collaboration with Town and City gift cards, and the idea is that it's a physical gift card that you've got to spend in a town, so you can't go and spend it online. You've got to go and visit. So again, we're trying to support people coming into Newark. So it's something we very much love the idea of. I think there's 80 plus businesses in Newark and Sherwood that are part of that scheme now, so we're going to be giving some of those away as well. But yeah, Summer Social, so there'll still, when you listen to this podcast, there'll still be tickets available to go and book. We're hoping to do a bit of a business networking session as well, so with having a whole bunch of people from Lincolnshire, Nottinghamshire and further beyond in the room, or outside the room if it's still nice and warm, we might actually get outside. We're going to do a bit of networking as well, and hopefully, I mean, I've seen the list already. And the good news is there's a whole bunch of people on there I don't recognise, which is exactly what this is all about. Absolutely. So hopefully it's the first of many things that we can kind of do, cross-county, cross-borders collaboration.
Yeah, and giving people who can't make 7 a.m. on a Friday morning another opportunity to network in the local community, business community.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. We've gone out and asked a couple of times, certainly since I've been chair, for feedback from people. What is it you're looking for? And this was one of those things, whether it's, because of childcare reasons, whether you're a shop and you have to open at 9 a.m. and you can't be at the business club meeting in the morning. For whatever reason, this is just another opportunity to get people. There's going to be a bit barbecue style food as well. The bar's open. People can leave their car overnight if they want to, as long as they pick it up by about midday the following day. So yeah, it's a good opportunity in more of an informal environment. No speeches, no keynote, no one to kind of take over. It's a case of just hopefully informal catch up with some business friends.
Brilliant.
Nice.
And really exciting. Looking forward to that. And the July business meeting at 7 o'clock on a Friday morning. What have we got?
Which you may well be listening to this as you're driving in, listening to Radio Newark about what's about to happen. So the July meeting is actually sponsored by the business I work for. So it's sponsored by Future Prospects Group, and we actually discussed this because as a business, we'd sponsored the Newark Business Club probably every 3 or 4 years. So the last time we sponsored was 2022. Prior to that, I think it was 2018. And we'd kind of said, actually, it doesn't really work because I'm chairing the meeting, so I can't really say, well, hello, it's now over to me. But we did have that conversation, say, over the last couple of years, we've done more in our business than we probably have the previous 3 or 4, 5. So we said, actually, we still want to shout about it. So Kevin Guthrie, our previous chair, is going to be chairing the meeting.
Brilliant.
And again, with the wider support of the committee, that's enabled me to be able to sponsor the meeting and not chair it, which is brilliant. So Future Prospects Group are sponsoring the meeting. There's going to be table networking as usual. The roving mic goes round at the start of every meeting. We find out who's in the room. We've got 3 charities that are presenting with our charity initiative. So those 3 charities that are going to get a few minutes each are Reach, YMCA Newark and Sherwood, and Headway Lincolnshire.
Excellent.
And again, we always say with that, the idea of the charity initiative is that 5, 6, 7 years ago, we used to get lots of charities kind of ask if they could get some time. But what you found is it's the more resourced charities that have got time to send someone to an event like this. So actually, some of those smaller charities that do some amazing work, and again, we've talked and touched on some of that kind of stuff, don't necessarily have the resource. So to give them this exposure, and that I think is one of the biggest things. As part of what we do, we actually put the decision to everyone in the room, so they get a little token. Supermarket style, and then they vote in the midway point on who their charity of that meeting is, and then at the end they get a donation from the business club and also our friends over at Round Table. So I think at the moment we're at £600 donation that'll be. But one of the bigger things is that exposure. It's talking about stuff that they might need. It might be volunteers, it might be resources. I remember chatting to one charity, they wanted plastic bottles one year because they were making greenhouses out of recycled plastic bottles.
Amazing.
Again, from that you kind of go, oh, okay. But it worked. They got that. Some people have come in and they've managed to get trustees, new people that are supporting the charities as well.
PA was one where somebody wanted PA equipment because for things they do, and somebody donated that. So it was, and they didn't win the actual draw, but they still got actually what they were looking for. So
it's the connection, isn't it? Relationships you build.
You don't know who's in the room. If we've got between 80 and 100 people in there, there's an opportunity that somebody will be able to link up and support you.
Yeah, and we always say it's not necessarily just the people in the room, it's the people outside the room, it's their extended network, and you might just have that light bulb moment. I remember a meeting where, again, one of the charities, they were talking about, I think it was a book that they wanted to produce, and by the end of the they basically said, look, we need a certain amount of money to get this published. It was a young author, I think 10, 12-year-old that had written a book about sustainability, and by the end of the meeting she had funding to go and get that book published. And you just go, wow, that's that's the kind of room that we're in sometimes, which is brilliant. So, and then to top that meeting, we've got another one of our patron sponsors that are going to be talking. So we've got
Radio Newark,
107.8 FM. and across DAB in Lincolnshire and Nottinghamshire. We have got the team from Radio Newark talking, so it'd be great to get some of the updates on obviously what they're doing as well. So lots going on in the meeting again.
Lots going on.
I have been promised that the aircon's working, and we might need that at the YMCA actually. So yes.
So busy, great meeting. Looking forward to it already.
And the sun's going to be out. You'll be happy.
I'll be there welcoming everybody.
With your high-vis vest on.
High-vis vest, and I suspect my knees will be out.
Be warned, people. It's Michael's knees are out. And
Helen took a very deep breath then.
No, she just booked a ticket. I've just seen.
Can't wait.
So yeah, we'll make sure we bring the coffee down to you. But you will be seeing if you're on the way in a big smiley Michael Hardy because the sun is out, as well as his knees.
Exactly. Well, that finishes this month's podcast. So first of all, just like to thank Helen for joining us and sharing loads of really interesting information about the business and what you're trying to achieve, and hopefully people found that interesting and inspiring as well. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you very much, and thank you again for being a patron sponsor and everything you do with that as well.
Absolutely. I'd just like to finish with a thought for the month, and actually something you said about one of the books, which is quite often I'll say to business owners is, don't negotiate with yourself, negotiate with your customer. Because quite often you, in your mind, are already putting the barriers up as to why somebody won't accept the price or the offer that you want to make. Let them come back with those. Don't negotiate with yourself.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
So thanks very much, Simon. Enjoyed myself as ever, and hopefully you allow me to keep coming back next month, and you're not going to replace me with
never. Although I'm sure there will be a takeover again at some point. We had Victoria and Katie from our committee that did a bit of a takeover last month, but I'm sure they'll be back at some point to cause some chaos. But no, Brilliant. For now, Michael, we are both all good with our knees out.
Have a good month, everybody. Take care.